Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Tamar Bibbs. I am the owner of Tamarisk Financial Services and also the host of Purpose Driven Life Skills. And today we have a special guest by the name of Cecil Ivey, and we are excited to be here today to talk to you about how AI is integrating into the insurance industry. Cecil, take it
Yes,
away.
man.
Introduce yourself, who you are, and why you are here today.
Awesome, awesome. I definitely appreciate you for having me. Appreciate the opportunity to come on and speak to your audience. So I am the king of AI. So I actually get the question. So what makes you the king? Well, there are multiple kingdoms. Okay, first off, so in my kingdom, I am the king of AI. Right. So I've actually been in the IT field for many years, 20 some odd years, but going all in, full in with AI. It's just been a journey, and it's amazing what it can do. It really is. And so,
Yes, well, thank you for joining us. As you all know, Tamarisk Financial Services, we are a life and health agency that really supports the estate planning process for our clients. We want our clients to understand the importance of planning their estate. And in doing so, it involves the insurance industry. I myself have been in law enforcement for over 23 years, and I've also been in the insurance industry now going on 7 years. I started off as a claims adjuster, and now I am a life and health agent. And coincidentally, Cecil is also all of those things. So we are talking to you all from experience. We're not talking to you from what we think is happening in the insurance space. We are talking to you firsthand knowledge about what is going on in the insurance space. And so we are going to talk about how AI is transforming the insurance industry. And it's doing it by integrating into core operations inside insurance, which involves underwriting, claims processing, fraud detection, and customer service. So we're going to talk about all those things today. And we're really going to dive into why these technology enhancements can improve efficiency and accuracy and personalization, and why it's moving the industry from a detect and repair model towards a
mhm.
proactive predict and prevent approach. Y'all welcome tonight. So let's talk
Right.
about some of the key areas that are being integrated by AI, and then
Mhm.
let's kind of break it down and give our own take into it. So let's talk about the underwriting and risk assessment portion of how
Mhm.
AI is being integrated.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, AI is here to stay. AI is not going anywhere. And like you mentioned just a few minutes ago, it's been integrated into everything.
Yes.
Right? So much so that IRL in real life, you're starting to get AI integrated into physical items, right? Cameras, refrigerators, you name it. All right. So as we start seeing AI becoming more and more as a commoditized, useful tool, we're going to see it pop up in a lot more places. But when you understand that all AI is pattern recognition. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is really good at recognizing patterns and mining data, right? So it can go 6, 7 layers deep inside of a data bucket, right? Whereas we get tired after the third level, right? So uh, and then also with pattern recognition, right? So uh, it can see patterns that, to the human eye, no, I didn't notice that every 15 years, such and such would, you know what I mean? So
Right.
because of the vast amount of data. So if we understand that AI is just pattern recognition and data mining, then we can understand why it's such a benefit for underwriting. Right? Because if you think about what underwriting is, it's risk assessment, finding patterns amongst a vast amount of insureds, right? When you start thinking about what risk management is and what actuaries do, they look at a lot of data and try to figure out, okay, it looks like everybody from Minnesota died at 71.
Hmm.
right? So we need to build a product that only goes to 70, you know, or whatever the case may be, right? So using those patterns and that data that you can access from those vast amounts of data is helping them to design products and information that normally they wouldn't even think about. So recently, if you guys follow, you know, the AI news, you know, I'm an AI nerd, so I'm looking at everything. But recently there was I think he's a high school student. He might actually just be going into college. But he took some public data from NASA, and he actually found new stars,
Mm,
new black holes just by using AI to recognize patterns and to mine that data. And so now NASA didn't offer the boy a job, you know what I
mm.
mean? So, and he's just a high school student, right? So, and he used it using a laptop and publicly available data and the AI that he built. Yeah, and of course he had help, but that just goes to show you that what AI can do as it relates to underwriting and finding those nuances and being able to provide a product that speaks to that specific nuance of that problem.
Wow. So when we talk about underwriting and risk assessments, and a lot of things that we don't think about is our everyday activities and how that ties into the internal and the external data.
Mhm.
Telemetrics, right? Many of us are putting or have all of our medical data online, right? We all
Mhm.
have WebMD or My Docs, whatever platform your doctor's agency uses. All of that information is now available because we're talking about
Mhm.
data. Home sensors,
Right.
right? Your home sensors, every time you install one of those devices into your home, whether it's for your AC unit, whether it's for your doorbell, all of these things are now tied into AI being able to analyze it. Social
Mhm.
media activity is now the hub of a lot of information when it comes to data that they're collecting on individuals. And it's also being used to look at your risk profile, right? So, talk about that and how it is being used, how that personalized data is being used against people who are now looking to get insurance and how that's being used in issuing insurance policies.
Absolutely. So when it comes to AI and especially the data, so data is the gold mine of what AI is. So without those vast amounts of data, we don't have AI. Right. So we're able to train on it. We're able to data mine and find patterns because we have this vast amount of data. But I think when it comes to the privacy concerns, though, I think it's a mute point. You know what I mean? Because AI doesn't actually change what we do; it just changes how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they've already had all this information about us. They've already had our medical history. It's just now that AI can access it now, and now I can see some potential hazardous patterns that are cropping up, right? So now I can use that information again to develop products, resources, or you know, to reinforce the knowledge that we have internally, right? So yes, your social media platform can be used to gather data to determine whether or not how risky you are, right? And that's just not, you know, medical. We're talking banking. We're talking, you know, you name it, right? But again, when you talk about data, most people think about either first party data, meaning that you as the consumer, you went and signed up for the email list, you went out and you signed up and you bought this from that company. So now that company has your data. That's called first party data. But now that this company has your data, and let's say they notice that everybody that bought from them, they're a t-shirt company, everybody that bought from them, they asked them about shoes. Right? So because I had that data, first party data, I own it. I could potentially sell it to a shoe company, right? So that's third party data. So now the shoe company can use your data, right? So it's a continuous loop of who owns your data. So when it comes down to it, everybody owns your data. So there's no one person to actually point the finger at, which is why when you go to a shopping site and you go to Facebook, now you're seeing whatever you were shopping at. You go log in on Amazon, now you just seen a commercial for the thing you were shopping for, and now you can actually add it to your cart while you watching TV. You know what I mean? So all of this is all capable because of AI. Right. So whereas before, like you were saying, going from reactive to proactive, because I know and I have this vast amount of data that shows 100,000 people that did this, and now I can process it in 5 seconds, and then I know who you are in the next 5 seconds. By the time we come back from that 30-second commercial, I know who you are, where your mama is, how long you know what I mean? That's all through the power of AI. You know what I mean? So, but again, the businesses, the nonprofits who harness that power has the same level that these big corporations have. So that's the beautiful part about it. So,
My.
but yeah, 23 and
Listen,
me.
like
Gonna
we
be
really go ahead.
what? No, I'm saying those DNA tests. It's more data. More data. Those family tree things. More data.
For data.
All right. Yeah. So what's the name of the family tree thing? That the thing. My old lady is real big into it. But if I can go to your family tree and I see that for the last 50 years, your whole family done had a history of heart disease, you know, going back to 1895 when the roads cut off, you know what I mean, or whatever year that is. But I'm saying though, the more
Mhm.
data we have, the more we build what they call a digital avatar. Essentially, is what it is
Mhm.
of you based on your
Of
data.
you. Wow. So this is amazing because I have been on a mission to really get people to understand how the insurance is really how it's doing, right? Because it's
Yeah.
so much. When you are
Yes.
trying to get a policy, when you
Mhm.
are trying to get a claim done, whether it's for your home, your auto, your life, property and
Mhm.
casualty, whatever type of insurance it has to go through a claims process, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's
Yeah.
for underwriting and or to
Mhm.
do a claim if you are trying to get something mitigated.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
And so
Right.
when we talk about the claims process, right? Because, and this is something I know you're going to have a whole field day on when we get to talking about this, is how AI is now able to review and look at things in unprecedented ways. One of those
Yeah.
ways is drone footage, right? Where
Mhm.
it can accelerate resolution times from weeks to minutes, right? How
Yes.
it's now able to go in, take a quick snapshot of your roof, whereas we've had to climb up, climb up on the ladder, pull that ladder up, go up on top of the roof. Mark, no, now they have drones
Mhm.
that can literally take this information, process it in minutes, and be able to tell you the age of your roof or how long you've had a car, what kind of damage you've been doing to this vehicle, how you're driving. So let's talk about how
Mhm.
AI is now being used to assess physical damage and how it's
Mhm.
been able to now take resolution times
Mhm.
literally minutes in some cases. Let's talk about it. I know,
Yeah,
I know this is gonna be your favorite part.
yeah, actually, you gonna make me pull it out. You gonna make me
Yes,
pull it out. I'm gonna
pull it
head
out.
on over here. Yeah, yeah. So you are right on, like nail on the head, right? So if uh again, I've been an adjuster for a while now, about 7 years as well, 7 8 years as well. So uh but also life insurance as well. So we have that in common, but I'm also a drone pilot. Well, you got your drone license too, don't you?
No, I didn't
Or
take that. I didn't do the drone license because I went
okay,
into SIU, special
got
investigation. You know, the insurance
still a good.
called me. They call me whenever there's the fraud part of it. So yes.
Exactly, exactly, right. But as we go, when it comes to claims handling, though, and how AI is just completely transforming everything. So if you go back to again when we started, right? You had to climb on the roof. You had to physically inspect every slope. You had to find the damage, mark the damage, label the damage, climb down the mud, do your sketch of the roof, sketch the roof, you know what I mean? The whole now weather reports, you name it. So this was all a manual process. And if you go even further, they were doing it everything on paper and they had to file everything together, right? So again, AI doesn't change what we do, it just changes how we do
Wow.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what I'm pulling out, and you were talking about drones, right? So this is a drone right here. Right. So I don't know if y'all can see that.
Yes.
All right. So this drone, it cost me about actually I just was looking at the invoice reviewing my bookkeeping the other day. But that drone cost about $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But that drone with the push of a button can fly up in the air, locate the house, map out the house, draw my roof, sketch my roof, submit it to Xactimate, go what by 3 foot by 3 foot, scan for damage, notify that in the photos, like, hey, this looks like some hail damage. Sends it to me to approve or deny whether or not it's hail damage or not. Once I approve or deny it, it creates the photo report, finishes the estimate with my roof sketch. You know what I mean? All from that one drone, right? So imagine how much time and effort that you're saving, right? So now instead of having to climb the roof and all of that, now I have all of this free time to be creative, right? To make
Mm-hmm.
sure that the report is detailed, to make sure that, you know what I mean? Now AI started off where you can only give it text, right? You can only ask it questions, right? Now you can talk to it, you can give it photos, you can give it videos, PDFs, books, spreadsheets. Now it can read every type of input, which is what they call multimodal, right? So now because you got every kind of input, it can read everything, it can see everything, it can search the web, which means now that it can search the web, it can check the weather, it can log into your apps. It can, you know what I mean? So we're going from where AI was essentially the only real value that we have as humans with AI is the ability to learn fast. All right. So that's the only advantage that we have over other humans. All right. So because AI can, if you got AI and I got AI, the only difference between you and me is that I learned yesterday that I can do this with AI. You ain't gonna learn until tomorrow. You know what I mean? That's the only difference. That's the only difference. You know what I
Wow.
mean? But everything is just an even playing field, right? So the faster you learn, the more you're ahead of the game, right? So all of that. So now you're multimodal, multi-output, right? So I can talk to it, it can talk to me. I can give it a picture, it can give me a video, right? So, and I think we would talk about fraud a little bit later, but now imagine, and this is real life happening right now in the insurance industry. Contractor gets the contract, says that, okay, I'm done, takes a picture of the work and submits it for approval, gets paid, he gone. Insurance company goes out there, none of the work is done because he used AI to take a picture and say repair the house. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Based on
Mm-hmm.
these, you know what I mean? That's real life happening right now.
Right.
Right. So AI allows you to take a broke down house and reimagine what it would look like completely fixed up, which people are using for the various purposes. You have voice AI that can clone your voice and sound exactly like you, which some people are using to call senior citizens to sound like their grandkids asking for money, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for every for every good, there's bad, right?
Yes.
So AI is just a tool, and you're going to have good people using the tool, and you're going to have bad people using that same tool.
Yes.
One person with a hammer can build a house. Another person with a hammer knock you upside your head. Yeah,
And you're
I'm
gone.
just
Okay.
right. Exactly.
So you mentioned fraud. And that's one of my
Mhm.
favorite areas because as a special investigator working with insurance companies to actually go out and do investigations for them dealing with fraud, I can tell you that to your point earlier, how it's being used for good and for bad.
Mhm.
Because with AI now, they are able to identify suspicious patterns, right? Because you mentioned earlier, everything is a pattern. So they can now identify suspicious patterns, anomalies, okay, in
Mhm.
large data sets, fraudulent activity, and
Mhm.
they can essentially use this information because, again, we're talking about a problem that is costing insurance agencies and companies billions of dollars annually. If y'all knew the amount of fraud that was going on and how much it
Yes.
costs insurance companies, yes, they are going to implement as much as possible into their
Mhm.
infrastructure to not lose money. Most people will. If you were sitting here bleeding to death, you would put a band-aid on it, right?
Yeah.
You would find some
Right.
type of way to stop the bleeding. So that's what insurance companies are doing now, is how can we now use this tool to stop us from losing money? And it doesn't
Mhm.
just help the company, it also helps you as the person who's being insured, because now what would have cost you a significant amount of money, because the insurance,
Mhm.
they're going to raise their costs. If they're losing money, they're going to raise the cost because somebody has to
Mhm.
help pay for the money that they're losing. So now this helps insurers to reduce their losses and to help keep their premiums lower for the people who are doing right. Right. So let's talk about fraud and how it is being
Mhm.
integrated into the AI for insurance companies.
Absolutely. So, like you said, so it's pattern recognition,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's about being able to mine the data, being able to go deep into the data to find those patterns, right? So that's what makes AI so valuable. That's the return on investment with AI, right? Being able
Mm-hmm.
to actually find those questions that you didn't even know to ask, right? So, and a lot of times we find those questions by having AI dig deep, right? So when it comes to fraud, again, like you said, finding those patterns over a vast amount of data that humans just don't have the eye for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we physically can't review all the data, right? So that was one of the first things that actually, when AI came around, and especially in the financial market, right? Fintech, right? That was the first thing that they threw at it, was the fraud, right? How do we reduce the fraud? If AI is so good at recognizing patterns, if AI is so good at going deep into the data, then this should be a no-brainer, which is exactly what they did, right? And again, like you said, somebody gonna pay for it,
Somebody.
right? Somebody gonna pay for it, right? So billions with a B in fraud
B.
wasted every year, which again, those costs are, passed on to the consumer. But yeah, that was the first thing that they threw AI, especially in the financial world, uh, and it'll continue to go from there. So now, even going back to underwriting, right? So the whole gamut of everything financial, everything.
Listen, so even if you're in the fintech space, if you're in insurance, if you're any, y'all listen,
Mhm.
it's coming. Like it's here, it's gone.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
We're just now catching up to the impact that AI is going to have on the future. Right. And so when we think about AI, and let's talk about customer service. Let's go
Mhm.
into customer service, because now if you notice, when you call companies, you can't get them right away. It's
Mhm.
more buttons to press, right? Because they want to know exactly why you're calling them. If
Mhm.
I am a company and I know I only offer so many services, then that means that when you call me based on the number that you press, even if you keep pressing zero, you're going to have to tell me something about why you're calling, right?
Right.
If you go to
Mhm.
these websites, every website now has a chat feature. Most of these chat features now are AI, right? You can literally fill out a whole application through a chat bot.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's talk about how AI powered chatbots are now being integrated into customer service, into virtual assistants, how it's handling regular customer inquiries now 24/7, right? So it's removing the need for human agents, right? And having them only handle the complex claims, and now integrating AI in to handle your minor questions like, can I update my address, right? So let's talk about how even quotes, right, are now being able to be given through AI. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So customer service is another big one where AI is really having a huge impact on. The whole customer journey, the whole customer experience. You got to remember that a lot of time it's based strictly on how people feel about how they interact with your company. If they
Mm-hmm.
got a long wait time, it's bad for business, right? If somebody got an attitude because the kids acting up at the school and the teacher called you 3 times on your lunch break, you know what I mean? I'm talking to myself, uh, right?
I
That's
felt
that's
that.
what I'm saying, right?
I felt that.
But that's an opportunity for AI to come in, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it. If you're just now implementing chatbots into your workflow, yeah, I think you're already too late, right?
Mm.
So we're actually now, well, you remember, the new color is red, right? So the new color is agents, right?
Right.
So whereas before you had chatbots that can have a whole conversation, right? Where the previous chatbots were if they say this, do this, or respond like this. Then it got to a point where uh, we don't need that because the AI has its own brain and it can understand the conversation. You just tell it what it needs to know. You give it context, right? So context is king going forward. So now because it has this background, now it can have a conversation based on how the customer interacts with you. All right. But the next phase of that, and what we're getting into for 2026 is agents, is that okay, now you have this brain, all right, that can understand a conversation, but guess what? Now let's add some memory. So now it
Mm.
just remember now it remembers you, right? Now it remembers how you talk, right? Well, let's take it a little bit step further. Let's give it some tools. Okay, now it can send emails.
Mm-hmm.
Now it can make phone calls. Now it can access your CRM. So now what you're having and what society is going to become is that you stop having employees and you have a society of managers. Everybody is going to become a manager. Everybody. But instead of managing humans, you're managing a group of AI agents. All right. So you got to, and then same thing in your business. All right. So whereas, you're a solopreneur and oh man, I wish I had a videographer. Now you do. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I wish I had an accountant. Now you do, right? Or I wish I had a CFO or a CEO. Now you literally have all of that with AI, right? But not only can your AI CFO give you, feedback, y'all can have a conversation, whether that's text, email, voice, whatever. But now he can actually, or she can go out and perform those actions for you,
Mm.
right? Now it can actually go shopping for you. Now it can check out online for you. Now it can, you know what I mean? So I can literally say, I can pull it up. I use Perplexity Comment, which is my agentic browser that I use. I can put it up and say, hey, buddy, go out to Instagram, find 100 people that I need to follow, send them a DM. When they respond, I want you to get them to book an appointment. Once they book an appointment, you tell it what to do, and now it knows what to do, and it's going to systematically go out and make sure everything happens. It's going to think about it, it's going to execute it, it's going to perform the task, and then it's going to come back and say, hey, here's the people I inboxed. Here's what they said. You know what I mean? So now you're going from telling ChatGPT or asking ChatGPT questions to just tell it what you want it to do. So And as that evolves into customer service, now instead of having you as a customer service agent, you got you as a customer service agent, but now you got somebody that you, hey man, go look up and see what these people done bought and tell me how long they bought and how long they've been a customer without you going to look for it. Or
Right.
now they didn't ask for a refund, you know what I mean? So you have a whole agency of agents that can go out just by you telling it to go do something rather than you going out to physically do the research and find out. Of course, verify everything, double check everything, but yeah, it's going to get to a point where yeah, we don't have to do nothing but live, and then we'll have a basic income. So,
Okay, and the income, that part. So, a couple of things that, well, let me just, because I want to use this to segue into our next talking point, in that with the integration of AI into customer service, it removes empathy. It removes the ability to be able to have that human interaction and that concern that we would get when we talk to people face to face. You have some people who still want to have that human interaction in their day to day activities, right? Because some people want to know that they're still talking to somebody real. Like you mentioned earlier, you know, AI now can sound like your grandchildren or your family members, and people really want to know, is this person a live person that I'm speaking to, or is this a chat bot that sounds like a live person that's very responsive to me? Because it really
Mhm.
is hard to tell. And so when we
Yes.
talk about product development and personalization,
Mhm.
how let's talk about how AI is now leveraging our customer behavior data and
Mhm.
market trends and how it's using that to tailor products specifically for us and or against us. And then how that's being done in the insurance space.
Okay, awesome, great question. So, as it relates to AI in the customer service space and how it's using our customer data to create those products, exactly what we were talking about earlier in the conversation is that it has the data, right? It can access the internet. It knows from the last 5,000 years of market trends what's been selling on Etsy, right? It knows from the last 100 years of data from Pepsi, what you know what I mean? So because it knows, and it knows again every psychological book that's ever been written, it knows everything that the human history has known to mankind, AI knows, and it can go out, research it, and put it back in a matter of nanoseconds. Right. So with that much power comes great responsibility, right? But with that power, you have the ability to create things that have never been before been thought about, right? So you have AI creating new diseases, right? New weapons of mass destruction,
Mm-hmm.
uh, new materials, right? New steel, right? So new methods for curing cancer, right? So all of this because it has that customer data and that uh, you know DNA data and right, and because it can do so much with pattern recognition, right? So it's really the managers of those AIs, right? So the business owners of those AIs that are taking that data and making the decisions to say, okay, let's go ahead and create that product because I didn't even think about that. Right, because we're never going to get rid of that human interaction, right? So one of the things that you mentioned is that, talking to a human versus not. All right. So 50-50, based on some research. I think the last article I read was about 49, 51% as far as people wanting to speak to an actual person. Right. But 80, 90% of people would rather speak via only text message. Right. So you have no idea if you're talking to an agent via text message. Right. So that's a product that AI could possibly fill the gap for. Right. If you're dealing with sensitive information, you can build AI that's HIPAA compliant. Right. But again, you never get rid of that human touch. So if it's low tech, or if you want to have that that human interaction, definitely don't recommend AI for it. But if it's the same pattern, if it's about going deep inside the data, if you find yourself doing the same thing 2 or 3 times, if you find that, it's a repetitive task, but if somebody with just a little bit of sense could figure it out, those are all opportunities for AI to come in and do that. And then once you have that free time, that flexibility, that's where you get those products that are going to hurt you or harm you, right? Because now you got all this data. AI said it could be done, it's possible, right? And so, that's where you get the human to actually implement it. Right? So,
Woo. Y'all listen. The whole point of this conversation was to bring awareness
Mhm,
as to how AI is really using our information and our data, especially when it comes to insurance, the insurance industry, the insurance space. And
mhm,
so we're going to go over some benefits and some challenges that AI can potentially, that could potentially exist, and
mhm,
how when we want to talk about being competitive, when we want to talk about meeting our customers where they are and what those expectations are in the insurance space, when we want to talk about regulations and how, there is or maybe not a lot of regulatory things that's going on in the space. So we're going to talk about some of those benefits and challenges. You ready? And
let's do it.
I want you to give me your feedback on each one of these. So we'll start with
Okay.
a benefit: increased efficiency and automation of manual tasks. Is it a benefit
Oh,
or is that a challenge?
I'm gonna say benefit, but it is a challenge. But I'm gonna tell you why it's a challenge. So it's a benefit because, okay, so I think people look at AI wrong. Like I think like everybody's doing it wrong in my mind, right? Because everybody is looking to throw AI at something to make money, right? So it's all about using AI to make money. But where I think they're getting it wrong is that AI is not necessarily for making money; it's for creating money, right?
Mm,
So how can you create 3 hours this week, right? What can you do with those 3 hours? I could do three more customers. Now, you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Instead of how can I use it to make money? Well, how can I use AI to remove a tool that I'm using? Right. So they just came out with an AI that can be on your Zoom calls for you. Right. So now you ain't even got to be on the Zoom calls no more. Right. So how much time does that save you? Right.
Right,
Uh, you can use AI to build your own Zoom platform. Like literally, you can build your own Zoom, and now you're saving $200, $300 per year because you have your own Zoom platform, right? So when I go back to, so definitely a benefit, but the hindrance is that when you start talking about workflows, and this is your wheelhouse, SOPs,
yep.
right? A lot of businesses don't have SOPs, so
Mhm.
you can't tell AI to handle this workflow when you don't even know what the workflow is, right? So it's a benefit because hell yeah, it's gonna save you some time for the manual tasks. But it's a hindrance because now you got to go back and literally map out every single manual task in your business. So,
Whew. Okay, here we go. Next one: data privacy and security concerns with handling large data sets. A benefit or a challenge?
uh, neither. All right. So, in my opinion, your data was over when they signed the Patriot Act. It was done then. It was over then.
Literally.
Right. Everything they want to know about you, they know about you. Anything they can know about you, they know about you. They know where you live, where you stay, where you work, where you last time you used the bathroom. If you were in an Apple Watch when you were asleep, when you was woke, when you had everything, it's already out there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So we're worried about privacy concerns when we have no privacy. You know what I
none.
mean?
Walk
At
down the
all.
street and every camera doorbell is tracking you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, can you create proprietary siloed AI that only you can access? Absolutely. Right? Do you have data that you don't want the outside world accessing? Yes. Bring it in house. put some security around it, build your own custom large language model that only you can access. Yes. So there is some privacy there. All right. Building, you know, second, you know, authentication and all of that into your application, into your AI, building guardrails so that, you know, folks that are attempting to hack. But as it relates to data and your privacy,
It's gone. None.
it's gone.
All right, so this is
I,
a good one. This is going to be a good one.
mm,
Potential for bias in AI algorithms, which could lead to discrimination if not managed properly. So let's talk about discrimination in the AI space because, hey, we're all
come
human,
on.
right?
Yes, ma'am. And actually, this is one I'm actually pretty passionate about. I don't vocalize it a lot, but it's apparent, it's relevant, it's natural, right? So if we think about it, so when it comes to AI, right, it's trained on vast amount of data in order to be able to recognize patterns and to mine data, in a nutshell, right? And it uses an algorithm to figure out, well, what's a match, what's not a match, you know what I mean? Or how far does this data go, or is this related to it? So that's what the algorithm does, right? But we have to remember that we have to train it to do all of that, right? And when a GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, meaning that ChatGPT had a whole bunch of data that we pre-trained it on, meaning that we went through the data first and we gave it to the ChatGPT and we matched it up like, yeah, that's right. No, that ain't right. You know what I mean? And we pre-trained it. That's what the P stands for in ChatGPT. Now you got to remember, we as humans, being that we have our own inherent bias. You know what I mean? And you know what? I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Cancel me if you
Hey,
want to. I don't care. I don't care. All of these large language models were pre-trained by a bunch of white folks. You know what I mean? So because of that, there are inherent biases that were already pre-trained into the model,
mm,
right? So if the person that trained it don't know an apple or a banana from a plantain, every time they see a banana, every time they see a plantain, it's a banana, right? If the person that's training the AI on how to recognize criminal behavior, if you're pre-training it on every black person that come into the store is, you know what I mean, potential criminal, you know what I mean? Like, oh man, but yes, you know what I mean? It was trained by people that are inherently biased in itself. Humans are inherently biased in itself. And it's not just race, religion, creed, you name it, right? So if I'm training a model on dogs,
mm-hmm.
right? And I don't consider a Shih Tzu a dog. That's just a small cat that barks. You know, then every time that model sees a Shih Tzu, oh, that's a barking cat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a barking cat. Right? So our inherent biases, our inherent prejudices, our all of that shows up in the AI because you got to remember it was trained on the internet. You know, one
Mm-hmm.
AI model was trained on the internet. One AI model was trained on Wikipedia. One wherever there's a vast amount of data. One AI model was trained on all the NASA stuff, right? So if
Amazon
there's a
and
vast
all
amount
of
of data, there's an
that
opportunity. Exactly,
stuff.
exactly. But if we talk about the internet, what is the internet but hate speech and porn? So if the AI has been trained on all of that, and you go and ask it, give me some gospel songs, it's a little prejudice. You
Right.
know?
Well, why do you want to listen to gospel when we have, shake the thing or whatever?
Right, right. Back at there you go. Right, yeah. Taking over for the 2000. But you get my point though. So
Yeah, I
uh
do.
yeah, we all messed up anyway, and it's trained on us. Right. So
My God,
yeah,
today.
yeah.
So let's talk about um we're gonna cover two more topics. Risk
Mhm,
management and the ability to prevent losses
mhm,
using proactively using IoT data. Let's talk about that.
mhm.
Explain to people
Yes.
what the IoT data is.
Okay, so IoT stands for Internet of Things, right? So as we know the internet today, it is computer to computer, right? So I go into my computer, I connect to the internet. On the other end of that, my internet connection is another computer, whether it's a server, whether it's my friend doing FaceTime, whatever it is, right? But what Internet of Things allows us to do is instead of going from computer to computer, now we can go from toaster to refrigerator, right? So now the things have the internet now,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now my refrigerator can send an internet request to my grocery store, or now my toaster can send a request to the bread company, well, whatever it is, right? So now that you have these Internet of Things, and now all of this physical devices can now connect to the internet, which now can connect to artificial intelligence, which can now connect to all of your tools and resources, which can now perform tasks. You see where I'm going?
Yes, Lord.
So, uh, so imagine a world where you can go to your refrigerator knows that you got Kool-Aid, Pepsi Cola, junk food, no vegetables. Now your refrigerator knows that, right? Because it literally watched you put it in the refrigerator
Mm-hmm.
and it made notes because not only is it watching what you put in, and so it knows how to create your grocery list. You know what I mean? So there's that. You know what I mean? And because I know you ain't eating nothing but junk food, right? And because I'm just saying, you
Talk
see where I'm
about it.
going. Yeah, right. So all of this is all hypothetical at this point, but we know what's going on. Like
It's not
if it's in a
hypothetical.
movie,
It's happening, but we don't know that
right,
it's happening because we just like, well, why is the insurance company charging us so much money? Because it just watched everything you put into your refrigerator because it scanned the barcodes.
yeah,
It knows how
exactly.
many times you open up the refrigerator, took that product in and out. It probably
Uh,
knows who took it out based on the time of the day and the hour that it's being done because it knows
yeah,
who's at work and who's not at work.
yes, ma'am. Exactly.
My God.
Exactly. Yes, yes. And now your webcam know that you ain't typing. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just sent the notification to your manager via text message. You know what I mean? Your webcam did that. You ain't nobody, you know
Okay.
what I mean? Yeah, so what
Listen.
that allow? Yeah, so now, like I said, in real life, robotics, right? So now we're getting into life. Everything is going to have AI, robotics. We're talking about robots that can fold your clothes, that can, you name it. Yeah, I mean, you name it. So, and again, that's all it is just putting the data together that
Mhm.
already exists. That is it. Okay.
So now that we've put all this data together that it's already existing,
Mhm.
the high implementation cost and the need for specialized AI talent, a benefit
Mhm.
or a challenge? And I want you to really answer this question from the standpoint of us at our age, right?
Mhm.
Our children that are coming behind us, and then those, I just kind of break it down by specialized talent in terms of who really needs to be looking at this in long term for a career, possibly a career choice.
Right, right. Okay, so definitely a benefit and a challenge for obvious reasons. So anybody, okay, so again, going back to the future is managers. Everybody's going to be a manager,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but you're going to have to be able to manage AI,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you can't do that, that means AI is managing you.
You.
Those are the only two options. You're either going to manage AI or AI is going to manage you. That's it. Now, as it relates to the talent pool, as it sits right now, 80% of the people they've heard about ChatGPT, but they don't know how deep AI is going and how deep AI is ingrained into every facet of every industry across every vertical, right? Customer service, uh, fraud, Internet of Things, your car. If we're talking about Tesla, Tesla is not a car manufacturer; it's a software company,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they can literally make your car drive into something. If you're familiar with that movie, but because you're either a manager or you're being managed by AI, and because 80% of the world doesn't know what the hell is going on with AI, it's a huge benefit for the people that actually want to manage AI, right? So I think LinkedIn released a research paper saying that uh, AI literacy is the number one skill set that you can have in any job, right? So that's what they're looking for right now.
Yep.
So if you're 18, just coming into the job market, we talked about the young man that built an AI system, and now he's flying a fighter jet to NASA for a job interview, right? But then you also have, I read an article about a 60, 70-year-old lady that used AI to build a platform for senior citizens,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it literally levels the playing field. So age really is not an issue, right? Money is not necessarily an issue because a lot of these models are free. And there's actually ways that you can get the good stuff for free, completely free, if you have a laptop, right? So money's not an issue. The only thing that's going to separate you apart is either A, you want to be an AI manager, or you're going to be managed by AI. Only two options. And B, uh, you have the ability to learn faster than the next person. That's it.
That's
That's it. That's the only thing that separates any of from a 5-year-old to a 95-year-old. Can you learn it faster and can you manage the AIs to get it done?
mm,
That's it. That's it.
wow.
If you can do this, yeah, if you can do that, you can damn near have any job you want to, right? Because now you can go into any job, because you know how to manage AI. You can 10x yourself as soon as you go in. Your first day on the job, you 10x yourself. You know what I mean? Whatever they ask you to do. Hey, I need you to send out these 50 emails to these clients. Yeah, give me a report by tomorrow. Your first day on the job, you knock it out in an hour because you know how to use AI, right? And they're personalized. They're ready for review, right? So you done got all 50 emails drafted. Only thing you need to spend your day doing is, yeah, that's cool, send that. Now I'll rewrite that one. Yeah, that's cool, send that, right? And now you 10x yourself as an employee. As a business owner, same thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're literally, now is the time to 10x yourself, right? Now is the time to not think about how you can make money with AI. How can I save money by using AI to eliminate tools that I currently use that I don't longer need because AI can do it for me? And how can I save time, on mundane tasks? If I find myself doing it 2, 3 times, AI can do it. If it's the same process every single time, AI can do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then free yourself for the creative stuff, right? And now you making more money, and you didn't throw more AI at it. You didn't throw more money at it. You just found ways to use AI to give you your time back so you can make more money, and to give you your money back so you can make more money.
So it's a return
And
on
I,
investment.
yes.
Wow. Cecil,
Yeah.
this has been
Mhm.
a real good conversation. Thank you so much because I think that, there's not many thought leaders and subject matter experts that are really talking about the impact that AI is having in the insurance space and how that is dripping down to us as the consumers, as agents, as, people who are using these tasks on a daily basis, and how it is really revolutionizing how it's going, and or for some people
Mhm.
it's leaving them in the dust, right?
Yes.
So I
Mhm.
appreciate you having this conversation. I know, for myself, there are some things, if I could just be transparent, that I just don't want AI to do for me,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Because I feel, and
Absolutely.
we've discussed this, because Cecil is, my IT guy. He is my helper when it comes to things that I'm doing with my business. And I've told him that, like, there's just some things that I want the human touch still on,
Mhm.
but these repetitive tasks that I'm having to do consistently over and over, no, I don't want to do that,
Yep.
because I'm a people
That's-
person. I want to get out and shake your hand and find out how you're truly feeling about things that are going on. And I can't do that if I'm having to send this email
Yep. Exactly.
person or the things like that. So thank you, Cecil,
Mhm.
so much. How can people get in touch with you?
Oh, no problem whatsoever. Been always a pleasure to connect with you. So we have a free community. Well, it's not free. It's free for the first 7 days, and then $7 a month if you'd like to join. And then you can upgrade if you like more information. But that's blacki.org. That's BLAKAI.org. And you'll see, all of the apps we build in our community. And yeah, that's pretty much that's the central point of entry for uh, everything me with AI right now. So
Yes. So if you want to reach out to Cecil, if you want to connect with Cecil, if you want to hire
there
Cecil,
you go.
if you need his advice on how to implement AI into your business, reach out to Cecil Ivey at blackai.org, BLAKAI.org. And you
Mhm.
can also reach him in the school community because he's in there all the time teaching you different things to upgrade whatever you're asking when it comes to AI. Again, my name is Tamar Bibbs of Tamarisk Financial Services and Purpose Driven Life Skills. And our goal is to really get you to understand how important it is to think about how we implement God in our everyday life and how we can also be on purpose with what we're doing. So thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us. And listen, we're going to come back and talk about this one again because I definitely want to talk about AI in the church. And I want you to I
Mhm.
want to bring in a panel on this one. I want to talk about this
Oh,
one.
yeah.
We're going to do it.
Yes, yes. And actually, I don't know. Did I send you the prayer warrior, the AI prayer warrior? I didn't send you
We're going to
that.
talk about it. We're going
Okay, all right.
to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
that'll
it.
be fun. I really want
Yes.
to be a part of that one. So yeah, let me know. Let
All
me know.
right, cool beans. Thank you so much, Cecil, for joining us. Y'all be sure to stay tuned because we're going all in. We're gonna have these conversations and we're gonna talk about it. So y'all be blessed. Thank you so much, Cecil, and good day.
All right, no problem. All
All
right.
right.